Amen. Amen. I noticed that this is a saxophone. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a soprano saxophone.
It's a soprano.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I grew up not in jazz. Mainly my jazz came through Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
You know, with Maurice White and the whole group behind him, you know. And Andrew Wilfolk had a saxophone like that. Right. And I didn't understand it for years that this guy had a straight, you know, saxophone, and he was just blowing and everything, you know. And I wish I had a clip here. Next time we bring you, we have clips of some of the old bands. And I mean, he was blowing that thing, you know. And I didn't realize till years later that it was a saxophone.
Yeah.
So now, explain the difference between that sax and the
others.
I guess the.
Well, they're it's like the voices. They're extensions of voices.
Okay.
There's soprano saxophone, just like a soprano voice.
Okay.
There's alto saxophone, just like alto vocal.
Now there's a saxophone for alto.
Yes.
Okay. And now what shape is that?
It's curved. That's curved. Actually, this soprano can come curved as well.
Oh, it can.
But this is the option. The other option, you can have it straight.
Okay.
But you can buy a soprano saxophone curved like you normally would see a saxophone.
Okay.
Curved.
Okay. But it's still it's soprano.
Still a soprano.
Oh, okay. Now, so when do you know that you are soprano saxophone player? When do you know? Because you see, I always wish I could. Often say that if I could sing and entertain, you understand me? If I could sing and entertain, I would just bring $1 million and donate it to Harvest Radio, because I know I would have me $1 million. I would sing everywhere, every state in the union, at every function, marriage, a burial. I would show up because I got something that I can reach the world, which I can't reach the world necessarily through my voice and talking all the time, because sometimes I say things that people might not like. But one thing I know about music, people love me. I don't care what language or what country you're in. I go back to a story. I picked up a young lady, a Latin young lady from the airport, a friend of mine, a wife. And I thought because she didn't speak English, that if I sang, she didn't. It wouldn't. She didn't know. You know, this is going back early '80s. And as I was coasting up 78, bringing her down, and I started singing, and she said, you can't sing. You know, she got it out. I said, whoa. I said, I didn't think you would even know. So, you know, you have something.
Well, it's deep because a lot of times, as you stated earlier, people don't want to hear what you have to say.
No.
But if you can relate to them musically,
yes,
then it bypasses the verbal
yes.
verbiage. You know, it transcends words.
Yes.
So, and that's the gift. It's a blessing to be able to do something that transcends speaking.
Yes.
Verbiage. So I know that God has gifted me with something unique, and as you stated earlier, the difference between this, and it's not really knowing if you can play it, is if you just pick it up and do it. You just do it. Either you do it or you don't.
But then there's a mechanical.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then there's
the mental, the knowledge.
Right.
You seek the knowledge. You go after the knowledge, but like you said, the practice, or the shedding as we call it, you got to practice. You got to pick up the horn, and you got to get some instruction.
Sure.
You get some books.
Sure.
Some paraphernalia, and you keep it moving. You just, okay, here's the E and D and F and A flat, and after you learn what those fingerings are, you just keep it moving. Then there's breath techniques, breathing techniques.
Sure.
You get those down, and you kind of work and shed, and after a while, you know, because you got friends, you play for them.
Sure.
They let you know, okay, you got it, or you don't.
But it's something. But it still rides on. Everything borderline something. Everything does, and it borderlines your interests. Like,
absolutely.
Like I would like to play the sax, but am I interested enough to do as I'm doing here,
exactly.
Trying to bring the world together through love and talk?
Right.
You understand what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, and political things and that nature. Right. Church, what's happening now? We out here trying to do what we can. You know, but the idea is that to have that interest and then be able to deliver.
Exactly. Well, you know, the story of how I started to play the horn. My father is an apostle, and he loved to play the saxophone, but he couldn't. He could not put the time in.
Right.
So I believe I was about 15 when I was about 15 years old in Newport News, Virginia. He said, "Here, see what you can do with this, because I don't have the time to practice." He just said, "See what you can do with it."
And how old were you at the time?
15.
Wow.
So, and I just took it from there. And at that time, I did not know what I was doing, of course. I just got the basic fingerings, you know, like B, A, G, F, E, D, C, C sharp, and that was it. He said, "Here, now go ahead." And I, you know, parlayed that into what's going on today.
And you've been playing ever since?
Ever since. Ever since.
Wow. So there's a great interest, and then your father, basically. So what was his response after he found out that you learned the sax? Now, what sax did he hand you?
Alto saxophone.
The alto.
Alto. I learned it on the alto. There was a tenor. I played tenor for a while. But I used to mess around with the baritone, because that's a soprano, there's the alto, there's the tenor, there's the baritone, and believe it or not, there's a bass saxophone.
Bass?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's very large and very cumbersome. So
it's a big sax.
You got to get up, even a tall person, got to get up in a chair and play, because it's very long.
So I would probably thought it was a tuba or something like that if I see it.
Not really. It's just very, very long. And very,
yeah, is it streamlined, and then yes, I've seen that instrument,
and it comes up and it's very, you know, very large, very cumbersome.
And that's the bass.
That's a bass saxophone. Most people don't play the bass saxophone. It's not really played very often. But
so how do you get the bass if you don't play the bass saxophone?
How you get it? You just go get it.
Then, in other words, what I mean is, like, if there's a group and there's something going on, and you need that bass.
Well, not ordinarily you won't need the bass saxophone.
Okay.
The baritone will cover everything that you need as far as that, you know. And most people now, because the bass clarinet is kind of popular right about now, most people go play that instead of the baritone right about now, because there's an artist named Marcus Miller, bass player, who plays the bass clarinet quite well. And I think he's making it popular again to play the bass clarinet.
So now, all right. Then that means you can play a clarinet also?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
It's different fingerings from the saxophone. But once you learn the fingerings, it's quite simple in the technique. It's the same thing. Armature is similar to the saxophone. It's a woodwind instrument, just like the saxophone is.
Oh, okay. Now, when if you remember, Spike Lee made the movie years ago, Mo Better Blues.
Yes.
And I'm sure that remember Denzel. Now, he was playing the trumpet? Is that correct?
Trumpet.
He was playing the trumpet. Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah, so a totally different instrument. More loud.
It's a brass instrument.
Yeah.
This is a woodwind. Saxophone is a woodwind that has a reed, and without the reed, it can't be played.
Now, what is a reed?
It's not a plastic, but a wooden stick or cane, a piece of cane that is carved and shaped flat at the tip and at the front, so it can actually vibrate onto the mouthpiece.
Oh, okay.
See that? See how the opening is very small and the reed comes to the tip. And what happens is, as you blow into it, the reed vibrates so that the sound, that's what makes the sound, the vibration of the reed.
So let me ask you, what is the history of the sax?
Oh, we don't have time to do that. We don't have time for that. But